very glad to be joined by Centennials head coach and GM Luke Pierce. A tough loss for you guys there, but you've got to be pretty happy with the resilient effort put forth by your club.
Happy with the effort.
Well, not happy, but obviously...
And happy with the result, I guess, are two different things. But no, I thought our guys, again, made some major... There's some individual breakdowns in the first period that cost us, and it's still, as a young group, we're still learning that the importance of every single play and every single shift in playoff hockey. And, we got burned a couple of times, but I thought from, midway through the first to the end of the game, we were the better team and deserved a better fate, but we got to score some goals.
You try to take the positives, and that's what you mentioned to Alex during the pregame show here today, was that you take the positives out, that you tied that third period last night, you outshot Salmon Arm. Same thing after this one, that you were the better team for basically probably 50 minutes of the game?
Yeah, and I think our guys are, they're starting to really feel that we belong in this series, and I think we sent a pretty good message to Salmon Arm tonight, too, that it's not over. I mean, they probably, after they scored the early one and then got the second one, I think they thought that they were looking forward to the next round. And this group hasn't quit all year. They're not going to quit now. We just talked after the game and said, hey, we had this meeting back last Wednesday and said that we're not leaving until someone wins 4, whether it's us or them. So 2 isn't a big deal for us. We're going home where we feel good, and I think they got that bitter taste in their mouth now that we're going to come out with a pretty good effort on Monday.
Really seems like you guys ramped up the physicality. Was that something that was that you stressed on? Like, did you say, we got to pick it up here, guys? Or is it just something that where they took the bull by the horns and realized, hey, you know what? We can play our game against this team?
Oh, no, we said that we had to be more physical. We said that the 2 areas that hurt us last game was our hits. We weren't nearly physical enough, especially on some of their key players, and we had too many turnovers. So those were our 2 things to focus on tonight, and I thought we did a really good job, except for a couple of key ones that cost us, and we'll continue to iron those out. But coming into Merritt, there's a lot less room for them to hide, and I think we're going to go after them pretty hard.
Really looked like Chris Moore struggled with the puck, and you guys basically exploited that in a very good way because, I mean, you look at the shot totals, 45 tonight. It seems like you guys were just firing everything at them, and it ended up working for the most part.
Yeah, and I thought we should have had a lot more on them. We had some guys who, instead of just sliding loose rebounds at the net, were trying to grab it and, step around a guy and put it upstairs or whatever, and you saw all of their goals were just push it at the net. There wasn't a nice one in the bunch, and we have to try to do that. He's given up rebounds. We got to try and catch him moving around, and it might be a one that you whiff on and it just barely gets there, but it catches him off guard. And I thought too many times tonight we tried to pull pucks back and will it in. We just have to bump them in, and I think the pucks are there for the taking.
Well, and maybe talk about, and just as an aside to that, is the goal by Cameron Crawford. That's basically what happened was Cam threw it at the net, hits one of their guys in front, next thing you know, it's in, and you guys are within 1 goal. So when we were talking about it during the broadcast, Alex and I, the shots end up 45, but the directed pucks at the net that were either blocked or went wide or whatever, probably close to 60.
Oh, yeah, easily. I mean, we've spent... throughout the year, we've been out shooting a lot of teams, and people say, oh, well, they just, they throw pucks from the center line. Tonight, I think we probably, out of the 45 shots that got on the net, I bet you 22 of them were good scoring chances.
Yep.
And, guys that don't usually miss weird bounces. I mean, a beautiful setup from Jones to Stack, back to Jones, a one-timer, and it hits their guy's stick, and he doesn't even know where it is, and it hits them, and those are, coming off of Jeff's stick 95% of the time they're in the net. So Stephen Wall, I thought, had about 14 scoring chances tonight. He couldn't grab, and we got to stick with it. But it's something for our guys to really build on. And, as much as the result isn't what we wanted or hoped to be, we've got to be happy with at least proving that we certainly belong in the series.
Talk about the bounce-back game for your goaltender, Lino Kimienti. Again, a couple of goals there in the first period that I know Lino probably would have liked to have. Some you can't blame him on at all. But after that, he seemed to really get in the zone. Like, it really seemed like we've seen Lino do it before, where he gets into what I call the Lino zone. and it seems like he's got those pads, he's kicking them out, quick feet, all that kind of stuff. Did you see the same thing?
Yeah, and I challenged him after the first period and said that, hey, we've designed a system to try and stop their power play. We know what we're going to give up, and his job is to not allow rebounds to enter a certain area, and an elite goaltender has to be able to do that. And I didn't think he was doing that in the first, and I said, you have to work with our guys here and try and protect those. And second and third period, I don't know if there was many rebounds at all. So he obviously responded well to the challenge, and we're going to continue to need very strong goaltending here.
Now, maybe talk about the play. We saw your defenseman really jump up into the rush, and I mentioned this to Alex during the broadcast. When you bring up the idea of secondary scoring, it was a defenseman that led your team against Salmon Arm in scoring during the regular season in your captain, Steve Tricera. We saw Billy Marshall get more active. You get a goal from Cam Crawford tonight. Again, Cam obviously didn't play last night, but he's feeling under the weather, and he notches a marker. So do you look at that secondary scoring as not just necessarily being, say, your quote, third and fourth lines, but also your D-men being active?
Yeah, I mean, we have to, when we were down 3-1, we said, hey, we're going to have to take a couple of chances and activate a little bit. And then once we tied it up, we kind of pulled the reins back a little, and not just because it was a tie game, but because, like you said, I mean, Cam hasn't eaten in 2 days. Steve's battling it as well with symptoms. Not to make excuses for it, but it is what it is, and you have to coach to what you're working with. I mean, we were down to essentially 3 lines because we had another player that was thrown up, all through the period and through the intermission, so I couldn't use him, and it just kind of threw everything off. So guys were, like I said, it is what it is, and they played pretty hard considering.
Well, and you mentioned Cam Crawford there. I mean, he was one of, if not the best defenseman last year in the playoffs against Penticton as a rookie. And I mentioned it during the broadcast that if that's the way that Cam plays after not eating for a couple of days, he should maybe go on a fasting diet because he played really, really well tonight.
Yeah, he did. I talked to him before the third, and I said, hey, where's your energy level at? And he said, I don't know if there is any. He kept going, but I think, that last goal, it's not that it's his fault, but a healthy, energetic guy there would have had enough to win that puck race, and unfortunately, those are the breaks that you get when you're feeling that way.
Well, and if your club is battling that illness right now, how big is that day off tomorrow?
Yeah, it is. It's huge, and the biggest thing is now for these guys to make sure there's only so much we can do to try and help them. They have to, show that their dedication to our cause here is extreme and take care of themselves, because there's no doubt that some of the guys who are really hurting right now are very, very key to our success.
I've asked you this over the season, but I want to bring it up one more time because you're looking at another big home game on Monday, but biggest crowd of the season, one of, in the regular season finale against Trail. How big would it be to have a huge crowd there Monday night? Yeah,
obviously it would mean a lot. I mean, considering what they had here, I think yesterday was just over 800. I don't know what tonight was like, probably somewhere in the same ballpark. And I think it just shows a lot how much the people in Merritt care about our group. And hey, it's something to be proud about when you compare it to some of these so-called big market teams, that we can bring out more support than they do. And I know last year after our effort in Penticton coming home that people kind of thought, hey, the series is kind of over. And tell you what, half of our players, I think, thought that way as well. But this group, we're nowhere near from done. We know we're going to come back home and give it our all, and I expect a couple of wins there and create some real buzz in the community.
Well, and I think that probably for 75% of this game, you guys prove that you deserve to be in this series and probably should be tied in this series at this point. So that's why I wanted to bring up that question to the fans and anybody listening right now, that tickets go on sale 1:30 on Monday. Luke, thanks so much for this, and good luck on Monday.